I have a confession to make. One of my big pet peeves is people who pronounce their own names incorrectly. It drives me crazy. If your name is spelled like Janice, Sharon, or Nina, don't expect me to buy into the delusion that it's actually Janice, Sharon, or Nina. This delusion extends to community names. Certain areas want everyone to intentionally mispronounce their names, and Illinois has quite a few of them. I say enough is enough. Here are a few that bug me. Athens, right? As in Greece? That would make too much sense. This town wants everyone to inexplicably use a long A sound, so they say it's Athens. There's also a New Athens because they really wanted to double down on this pronunciation. This town was named after Thomas Jefferson's home Monticello, which is Italian, so why on earth does it get pronounced as Monticello? The name for the town was suggested by a dude named James McReynolds, so I'm guessing that he had only seen Monticello written out and didn't know how to pronounce it. This village predates the Treaty of Versailles, so I understand that the early settlers probably didn't know much about how to pronounce French words, but after they figured it out, why did the incorrect pronunciation continue? Versailles sounds like someone had just discovered Hooked on Phonics when they saw this word, and they were like, Versailles! Nailed it! On a similar note, Marseilles instead of Marseille, because, of course. From what I could find, this town was called Marseille like the French city in 1835. I have no idea why the pronunciation changed to Marseilles. In French, the last letter typically doesn't get pronounced, so this should be Prairie du Rocher, but Illinoisans have decided that we have to go with saying the R, so it's Prairie du Rocher. I guess I should just be glad that they don't call it Prairie du Rocher. So the S in Illinois is going to be silent, but we're going to pronounce both S's in this name and make it Des Plaines. Talk about consistency. I see this name and I always read it in my head like Tattoo in Fantasy Island saying De Plaine before I remember that they really hit the S sounds. Continuing with French names that get mangled, I present Dubois. It should be Dubois, but nope. It was named after a guy named Jesse who mispronounced his own last name. And before you point out that there was also an author with this last name, W.E.B. Du Bois, I'm familiar because I study political science in college, but it doesn't mean I have to like the pronunciation. Cairo is the capital of Egypt. It's a pretty well-known city, so could someone please explain to me why this town isn't pronounced the same way? The really crazy thing is that no one can seem to agree on how to pronounce it. According to the University of Illinois' Community Pronunciation Key and the governor, it's Cairo, but when I pronounced it that way, I had people come at me and say it's Cairo. Right, because that makes sense. This is the unisex name Casey, right? Well, this community decided somewhere along the way that the S was just too soft, so it's a Z now. So, KZ. Lebanon, as in the country in the Middle East. Or at least it should be. They pronounce this with the emphasis on the first syllable, so it's Lebanon. Do you remember the actor Dennis Farina? That's how this town's name should be pronounced. It's named after a type of milled wheat that is called farina, but someone came along and decided that they would rather give it the ridiculous pronunciation of Farina. Not Newark, like New Jersey. Nope. New Ark, like Noah just went out and got himself a bigger boat. Newark. Orion, like Orion's belt. I'm just kidding. This gets pronounced Orion, because of course it does. You know the song, Do You Know the Way to San Jose? In Illinois, it should be, do you know how to pronounce San Jose? Because it gets pronounced as San Jose. Someone just decided we were going to ignore the fact that Jose is a Latin name, I guess. That's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a departure from my normally fact-heavy videos, but sometimes I just want to have a little bit of fun with this whole YouTube thing. If I missed one that you think should be on the list, leave it in the comments below. And until next time, I remain stuck in the cornfield.